On Friday, Gov. Andrew M. Cuomo told New York's 19 million residents to stay indoors as much as possible and ordered non-essential businesses to keep all of their workers home.
The measures, the state's most drastic yet, come as confirmed coronavirus cases in New York topped 7,000, by far the most in the nation.
These provisions will be enforced, the governor said at a briefing in Albany. These are not helpful hints. They will take effect Sunday night.
Even as he told New Yorkers to stay indoors, Mr. Cuomo added that if they did go out, whether to do essential shopping or to exercise, they must stay 6 feet away from each other.
His new policy bans all non-essential gatherings of individuals of any size for any reason.
The governor also announced strict rules for people over 70 and those who have underlying illnesses, allowing them to go outside only for solitary exercise, requiring them to wear masks when in the company of others and barring them from visiting households with multiple people, among other requirements.
For days, Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York City has pushed for a shelter-in-place order and the governor has repeatedly dismissed the idea, saying he would not quarantine New Yorkers in their homes.
On Friday, Mr. Cuomo chafed at calling this new order a shelter-in-place order, saying that term evoked active shooter situations and nuclear war.
Words matter, the governor said.
The number of confirmed cases stood at 7,102 on Friday morning, 4,408 of them in New York City, Mr. Cuomo said.
New York State, with only 6% of the country's population, accounts for around half of the nationwide total of confirmed cases.
New York performed 10,000 tests overnight, bringing the total number of people tested in the state to 32,427. About 1,250 people are hospitalized, an 18% hospitalization rate, the governor said.
Mr. Cuomo said New York was now testing more people per capita than China or South Korea.
Mayor Bill de Blasio said that New York City's need for medical supplies, including face masks, gloves and ventilators, was growing more urgent, and he criticized President Trump for not activating the military to ensure necessary supplies be delivered to places fighting the outbreak.
He should get the hell out of the way and let the military do its job, the mayor said.
On WNYC Radio, Mr. de Blasio continued his criticism. "We're talking about, ironically, a New Yorker in the White House who is betraying New York City," he told Brian Lehrer.
"We're talking about a president who is basically doing what Herbert Hoover did at the beginning of the Depression and minimizing the nature and refusing to use available federal action, and people are going to die, and they shouldn't, they don't have to, if we could get the support that we're asking for." The medical needs include 3 million N95 masks, 50 million surgical masks and 15,000 ventilators. Healthcare workers will need another 45 million of each of the following: surgical gowns, coveralls, gloves, regular face masks and face shields, the mayor said. Mr. de Blasio said on CNN Friday morning that the Javits Center and other large facilities like hotels might be used in the response to the coronavirus, possibly as hospital annexes. Starting on Saturday, all barber shops, hair and nail salons, tattoo or piercing parlors and other personal care businesses in New York State must close, Governor Cuomo announced on Friday. Mr. Cuomo's order followed a similar one by Gov. Philip D. Murphy on New Jersey, which took effect Thursday night. Connecticut and Pennsylvania will also be enacting similar measures. The closings in New York begin at 8 p.m. on Saturday, Mr. Cuomo said in a statement. The new restrictions widen the limits placed on businesses in an effort to contain the coronavirus. So far, Mr. Cuomo and his counterparts have ordered movie theaters, gyms and casinos to close and limited restaurants and bars to delivery and takeout service only. All the measures are an attempt to enforce distance between people, a tried and true way to slow pandemics. Officials and health experts have encouraged people to maintain a gap of at least 6 feet between each other. The personal care businesses were of particular concern because the services they offer are nearly impossible to provide without the kind of prolonged, close contact that allows viruses to spread. Most barbers do not own 6-foot scissors, most tattoo shops are not supplied with 6-foot needles.
Also, all 92 branches of the New York Public Library, located in Manhattan, the Bronx and Staten Island, will be closed until further notice, a spokeswoman for the organization said today. Initially, the organization had said its branches would close for at least 2 weeks.
The air traffic control tower at Kennedy International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the country, was temporarily closed after a worker there tested positive for the coronavirus, the Federal Aviation Agency said in a statement.
The airport remained open on Friday, but the FAA closed the tower as a precaution and called a professional cleaning company to sanitize the facility, it said.
Air traffic controllers were operating from an alternate location at the airport, as part of a contingency plan that the agency has had in place since well before the outbreak began.
The worker, a technician, did not enter the part of the tower where air traffic controllers work, the agency said. He was last at the facility on Monday, when he was only in the building for a brief visit.
Earlier this week, a tower at the Las Vegas McCarran International Airport was temporarily closed after an air traffic controller tested positive for the virus.
Chen Wei's wife begged him to stop making restaurant deliveries because she feared he might contract the coronavirus from a customer.
Li Mingba, another delivery worker, wondered if the hand that reached out for the bag of medication from behind an apartment door on a recent run belonged to a quarantined patient.
Adolfo Garcia tries to deliver pizza in 4 seconds, sometimes leaving boxes near the elevator on the first floor of apartment buildings for customers to grab. He disinfects his hands after each delivery, so often that his skin is dry and cracked.
As New Yorkers barricade themselves in their homes to practice social distancing, delivery workers, typically an overlooked group, have now taken on outsized significance and are on the front lines of the outbreak.
A few days ago, New York State was testing only a few hundred people a day for the coronavirus. From Wednesday night to Thursday morning, Gov. Andrew M. Cuomo said, the state processed the tests of 7,584 people.
The increase came as dozens of private laboratories in the state received authorization to test for the virus. Until recently, 2 government-run labs had shouldered most of New York's testing.
The huge increase in testing capacity and the quickening spread of the virus yielded sobering news. As of Thursday afternoon, there were at least 5,298 cases statewide, up from about 3,000 cases on Wednesday. More than 750 people were hospitalized. At least 29 people had died of the virus in New York State.
The 5,298 cases in New York State are by far the most of any state in the country and make up more than 40% of the nationwide total of over 12,000 tallied by the New York Times. New York State has only 6% of the country's population.
When the week began, New York State had tallied fewer than 700 cases. The number has shot up nearly 700% since then.
The increase in testing was helped by the addition of 3 drive-through test centers. The first opened last Friday in New Rochelle, the state's original virus hotspot. A second opened on Tuesday at Jones Beach State Park on Long Island, and a third opened on Staten Island on Thursday.
In New Jersey, the governor's office said on Thursday that another 318 people had tested positive, bringing the state's total to 742. 9 people had died in New Jersey, up from 5 on Wednesday. 3 of the 9 deaths were associated with long-term health care facilities, which have been closed to visitors, the state's health commissioner said.
In Connecticut, Gov. Ned Lamont said on Thursday that the state had recorded its 3rd coronavirus-related death and had added 63 confirmed virus cases since Wednesday, bringing its total to 159.
Jonah Engel Bromwich, Kimiko de Freitas Tamura, Luis Ferre Siderni, Michael Gold, Matthew Hogg, Jeffrey E. Mays, Andy Newman, Azzy Paybara, Jeffrey E. Singer and Liam Stack contributed reporting.